as another new but not so new track from, well, you figure it out. You can Google it. Anyway, this is Rudy Reyes. Welcome to the Rude Dog Show. Thank you for tuning in today as we touch on a topic. It's burning. Everybody's talking about it. It's on fire, and everybody just adding gasoline to it, including, well, we'll get into that in a minute. We'll talk about that. Some topics that have been burning, and finally the gasoline was added to the fire, or somebody dipped a torch in tar to make this a bigger fire than actually what it should be. Lo and behold, the basketball itself is on fire, and obviously it's on the clock. There are many ways to listen to today's show. You can download the app. You can go to therudedogshow.com. You can go to WBLZsports.com, Google, iTunes, and if you want to step into the Facebook Live realm, you can certainly do that. Look, when you consider the amount of ways to listen, stay away from the doghouse, join the show. That is the Rude Dog Show. Thanks for tuning in. Don Turner will join me in 30 minutes past the hour, but we're going to talk about a newsworthy topic again. You probably know where I'm going with this. And when we talk about not for the faint-hearted, this subject certainly does just that. Touch on various topics today. And one of those happens to be the very hotly contested LaVar Ball situation. And I know everybody's out there saying, yeah, I've heard this before, I've heard it again. But you hadn't heard it from me. I hadn't really spoken about it because I was waiting to find out who would go back and forth. You know, who are the people to continue making this thing run, work in such a negative way that could contribute to so much more disaster later on. But we're going to talk about a very... You know, if you're weak-hearted, if you got a weak stomach, this probably isn't going to be the topic for you. Considering we're talking about the UCLA Bruins high NBA prospect in Lorenzo Ball and his dad, who certainly is a part of what's creating the buzz. Not Lorenzo himself, but LaVar Ball. And look, there's a few ways you can discuss your career. You can make it be worth something, or you cannot make it worth something. And I think right now, the way that it's being conveyed by LaVar Ball is sabotage. It's sabotage to a brand in Lorenzo. It's a sabotage to what his son is trying to create for himself in the long term. And additionally, you can find those people that can either sabotage it for you, continue to have them around so that way you end up with nothing at the end of the day. And clearly, I don't know that his mindset is to protect his son. I think more than likely he's ruining his imagery. I think there's a lot of people around that are looking at it to say, wait a minute, where's Lorenzo in this conversation? Is he a part of the conversation? Is he not a part of the conversation? You can call in 216-539-9967. You can give me your take. I want to hear from you. Sometimes it's good to talk. I'd rather listen. 216-539-9967. You can download the app from Google. Check it out. It's free. You can't beat it. You can't beat free. If it's free, it's for me. And when I look at the tic-tac mediocrity between LaVar Ball and LeBron James, and I know you're probably thinking, I've heard this before. Well, you may, and it's close, but not quite. As I was listening to a report earlier, I was thinking of all the attention that this is getting. They say that bad publicity is publicity in of itself, and it could very well be. Everybody wants to have something to say. Everybody has an opinion. Everybody wants to comment on what's going on here in the NCAA tournament and this whole Lorenzo, LaVar, LeBron. There's too many L's. And right now, everybody's on the losing end. See, that's an L or something like that. It's an L. I'm on Facebook Live also. Tune in. Check it out. WBLZsports.com. I am live here for at least an hour. Well, let's just say 49 minutes. How's that? 49 minutes? That'll work. Okay, great. I was listening, and of course, I'm always listening. I'm always paying attention. I'm always focusing. Always wondering what's going on in the basketball world. Of course, NCAA playoffs, the Sweet 16 aspect are certainly on the horizon. And I've been focused on it? Yes. Have I been more focused on the World Baseball Classic? Well, yes. Yes, I have. Go USA, by the way. USA's playing tonight in Los Angeles. It was wet and rainy last night. Let's see what happens tonight as they take on a very hot team right now. I can't wait for this game. It's only about 7 hours away. That's all. I'm staying tuned for that one. Anyway, so I'm looking at a captain of a different ship, and I'm talking about LeBron James. We're discussing the fact that there were shots fired by LaVar Ball by putting himself as the captain of Lorenzo Ball's ship. I'm thinking to myself, well, wait a minute. He's steering his own ship. He's trying to guide himself to an NCAA title. He's not exactly the kind of kid who is real super splashy. If you've seen him out on the court, he's effective. He's good in the paint. He's good in long ball. He's great in the short ball. He can get the ball to different people, no pun intended. And I look at all of these things. I look at the fact that LaVar Ball had no business whatsoever, and LeBron has every reason to be on the defensive here. End of story. And nobody can argue that fact alone, because look, LaVar Ball decided to talk about and use LeBron James as an example. That guy has won 2 championships with 2 different teams, the Miami Heat and Cleveland Cavaliers, after they've been droughtless for about a quarter century. And when you think about someone that you don't want to have a conversation about, that's LeBron James. He has every reason to contact LaVar Ball. Look, if they were to all sit down at a table, not a basketball court, sit down, and I don't mean at the half, the half court shot, if you will. Sit them down and have a discussion about this and say, look, this wasn't negative. I didn't mean it to be negative. And clearly this was taken out of context. First of all, from someone who's right in the middle of it would probably suggest that this was something that was intentional. I don't think that LaVar Ball meant this to be a negative. The problem is that he put LeBron James and his family in the conversation. There are so many players out there who, Steph Curry, Dale Curry, good example, right? Steph Curry can make, shots from basically anywhere. Dale Curry, not so much. His transition from the NCAA student athlete type of play certainly didn't land him in a great NBA conversation about being one of the greatest of all time. And clearly Steph Curry can't be put in that conversation. Of course, there's so much more time in relation to where Steph Curry's career is and where it will end up. I don't really care for the fact that LaVar Ball can't seem to stop the conversation. His ability to completely alienate people from where he wants his son to go to. Look, I am all for getting your kids and helping them to the extent that you can. I understand that. I do. I help student athletes all the time. But that doesn't make me an agent. I can't negotiate contracts for kids. That's preposterous. There's absolutely no way you're going to find me in that conversation and say, well, here's a multi-million-dollar, multi-year contract. Can you look it over? I don't even know what I'm looking for. LaVar Ball has no business being in that conversation in relation to, well, maybe I'll just negotiate someone's contract. You can't do that. You have no experience whatsoever trying to negotiate a multi-million-dollar, multi-year contract. It doesn't work that way. So you're a former professional player. So let's look at this, shall we? LaVar Ball certainly puts himself in a conversation where he says that he can take on Michael Jordan. Really? Michael Jordan? How many clutch shots did Michael Jordan make? How many shots did Michael Jordan miss? A lot. He did. He openly admitted that he had missed more shots in a game-winning situation in his career than he made winning shots. That's interesting. Talk about humility for himself, maybe. So let's look at the levels for which LaVar Ball has put himself in, okay? Has not made it to any professional pinnacle and now living through his eldest son, now playing in NCAA Sweet 16. LaVar Ball landed on a practice squad for the Jets and Carolina Panthers. He participated professionally in the World League of Football with the London Monarchs. Who? The London who? I don't even know what that is. I don't even know there's a World League of Football. You must be joking. And then clearly these are outlandish and irrelevant claims made by LaVar Ball. In no way, shape, or form could take down Michael Jordan or even Greg Louganis, the Olympian. Greg Louganis? You must be kidding me. Okay, look, I'm not laughing at the likelihood that LaVar Ball could do it. What I'm laughing at in the fact that now here he is, 48, 49 years old, and trying to state that in his prime, in a past tense conversation, that he could beat Michael Jordan one-on-one and match Greg Louganis in an Olympic pool. I smell a rat. I smell a rat. I'm telling you, I smell a rat. I don't look at LaVar Ball and take him seriously at all. But what I take seriously is when you start calling out people. When you start pointing fingers at everybody who has either opposed you or has an opinion on your situation, who has an opinion on where you are trying to make an impact on your son's life. Yep, you can do it positively. Absolutely. There's no doubt. There's no doubt. You can. But it's how you say it. It's the timing for which you say it in. It's the verbiage that you use that would have other people take you seriously. Now, I'm not saying this is a perfect match of, putting LaVar Ball and putting Michael Jordan on a basketball court now. Or could that work? I think that would be fantastic. I'd like to see Michael Jordan and LaVar Ball go at it. I would. Michael Jordan would still ball him up. He would find a way to disgrace LaVar Ball on the basketball court. LaVar Ball should change his last name to Flat because Michael Jordan would run him over in every single aspect. Bottom line is this. When you look at LaVar Ball, when you look at the conversation, look, this is much to do about nothing. Until you brought LeBron James in the conversation, until you start talking about his family, until you started to say that you can be one of the greatest basketball players of all time, and that is Michael Jordan, as well as an Olympian who's a multiple gold medalist in Greg Louganis. How do you do that? How do you do that? Is it that hard to imagine? The fact alone that you wait for a response from LeBron James? And then, of course, he wanted to suggest that LeBron James's warning about keeping kids out of his mouth not seriously. Is that not libel? I don't know. I would probably think that it is, but, at the end of the day, it's about how you react to it. I think LeBron James had every reason to react the way that he did. I really do. LeBron James had every reason to call LaVar Ball. And for all intents and purposes, I'd call him out too. Matter of fact, I would find out how to contact LaVar Ball personally. What's his phone number? Hey, LeBron, if you're listening, call in. I want to hear your side. 216-539-9967. Or LaVar, you have something to say. I'm here in Southern California. Your son plays in Southern California. 216-539-9967. And we have a caller. Welcome to the Rude Dog Show. Or maybe we do or don't. I'm not quite sure how this is working. But anyway, welcome to the Rude Dog Show. This is Rudy Reyes.
Hello, Rude Dog.
Yes, welcome to the Rude Dog Show. Who's this?
This is Luke from Jersey.
No, hey, how are you?
All right.
How can I help you? What's your opinion on this situation?
Well, I called a little bit late, so was there anything particular topic?
Well, you can call. You're live now. You can talk now.
Okay. Well, we're down now to the Sweet 16 of the NCAA, and of course, I get like 97% of the country. It is busted.
Yeah, mine was. My whole bracket was broken the minute. Yeah, mine's broken. It was broken before I ever started because I knew for some reason, because of the games that Duke had lost in the regular season, made me believe that they were going to go down. I just didn't know it was going to be against the team.
I wasn't too keen on Duke either, going that far. I mean, they had their rough spots, especially in ACC play. So I wasn't really convinced that Duke was being, almighty this time around. I really didn't see it happen. I thought maybe it would make it. I didn't see them, getting past the second round.
I don't know. I'll be honest with you. Looking at there's 16 teams left in round 2, And the way that I look at it now is if Duke wasn't going to go down then, it would have happened during round 2. There's no doubt about it. It was the biggest upset. As soon as I seen Duke go down, I said everybody needs to get out their super glue and try to put their bracket back together like Humpty Dumpty, but it didn't work. It didn't. I think that was the biggest upset. Absolutely. So far, there's no doubt about it. That's the biggest upset. And the reason why is because of all the hype that was given to Duke. Too much. There was too much hype given to Duke. They gave them way too much credit. You were talking about the ACC play and what they had done during the ACC. They lost against North Carolina at least once. North Carolina lost, had been beaten once by Duke. Look, they're down the street from one another, but how Duke went out, I guess, is the most profound way of going out. They didn't take care of opportunities. They didn't shoot the ball around when they needed to. They didn't pass the ball around like they needed to, like they did in the regular season. Something about a Coach Krzyzewski team, you think to yourself, this is uncharacteristic. Were you trying to pick up your bracket as it landed on the floor?
Do you think he's done?
Coach K, I believe he should be done. I like Coach Krzyzewski.
Uh-huh.
The guy's probably one of the greatest of all time. But you got to know when to say when. And right now, during this NCAA tourney, and the fact that they went out a ton earlier than they really wanted to, means that they're done. And Coach K could be done as well. But, sometimes the old-timers die hard. They don't leave early.
No, they don't. I mean, he's trying to fight every ounce he can, but, given his age and his health now, that comes into play as well.
It does. Health has everything to do with why players, coaches stay in their respective league. NFL, NBA, NCAA, Roy Williams for the Tar Heels, right. Coach K, you have Tuberville, you have all these, you have the Patinos of the world. All these guys want to die hard. They're so stubborn. They want to win the biggest, the best, the brightest, with the biggest and the best. That's the ultimate goal. You don't play this game to lose. You play this game to win.
No. You play to win the game.
You have to play to win. You don't play to lose. But the way Duke went down, is the most impressive by any means of a team that didn't even have a chance. How many upsets were there? Major upsets. Villanova went out. They're gone.
Even bigger than that.
Okay, go ahead.
Villanova losing to Wisconsin.
That I did not see coming. The Badgers just completely destroyed them in all facets of the game. They did. They took advantage of transition. They took advantage of getting the ball to the shooters when they needed to and how they needed to. They were dominant inside of the paint. They knew when to shoot. They were great with ball passing. I think their percentage in ball pass efficiency was somewhere at 70-80%. I mean, they were just that good. They were just that good.
I don't think you can lose 8% for the percentage of that. I don't think you can lose that.
No, not at all. Passive efficiency has everything to do with in correlation to shooting percentages, because if the ball's handled sloppily and you don't get the ball effectively, how can you shoot it effectively? You have your clutch shots. Granted, you chuck a three-pointer, get fouled on it off your back foot, and that's great. But will it come in and make it? No, not necessarily.
No.
But what are your thoughts about this LaVar Ball situation? And does he put him...
I think as the thing goes, to make him not out of the molehill.
You think so?
I think he's overhyped. I think he's way overhyped.
Well, look at it like this. Lorenzo's putting his mouth to hardwood. I mean, he's committing to do everything he's needed to do. They're headed to the Sweet 16. NCAA, without UCLA in it, wouldn't probably... This is a storybook season for UCLA. They hadn't been this far in over 20 years. Yeah. So you find a team like this, they're in my backyard, UCLA.
Yeah, well, look, they said the same thing about, Bamba 20 years ago. What happened in their career?
Yeah, those were actually short. Yeah, you're right. They didn't transition well to the NBA either. Awful. If you think about that. Yeah, absolutely horrible career low in percentages from the field.
I mean, his father's hyped him up, trying to give his son a shoe contract worth $1 gazillion. And one of this kid turned out to be a bust.
Well, he could be.
But I look what happened last year with from LSU, Ben Simmons. They were hyping him up. What happened? He got hurt. Now he's not even playing.
Yep, exactly. Look, transitional basketball from the NCAA level doesn't always commit. I mean, you have a lot of exceptions, and a very few exceptions when you exit from, say, Lower Merion High School and your name happens to be Kobe Bryant, and you exit from high school to find yourself in the NBA. Of course, those types of things don't happen. Kobe Bryants aren't made off a tree. You can't find them on a lower hanging fruit level. But Lorenzo Ball's, because he's still an NCAA student athlete, has done everything he can do to the level of his athleticism while at UCLA. Do you think his dad's doing him more harm than good?
Yes.
Why?
Well, I think maybe it's like it's exposing him, but I think it may do more damage to his game. If he's only a freshman, right?
No, he's senior.
He's a senior.
No,
okay. Well, at least I think he's had the experience of playing in college now. But, he hasn't even played an NBA game yet, and they're already thinking like he's going to be the next greatest thing in the sport of basketball.
No, he's not. He's not. He's not.
But they're making out to be that he is.
Well, again, you can talk about the hype. LaVar Ball can say he's the greatest thing since sliced bread. But that doesn't mean he is. You like wheat or white bread? I like wheat myself. That doesn't mean that it's the best in the world. That just means that I like it.
Right.
But will his skill set... Well, yeah. You put some butter on it and stick it in the toaster and call it a day. But do you think that Lorenzo Ball's skill set will end up translating into the NBA?
It's hard to tell. Because we've seen this time and time again. They're great in college, and when they get to the NBA, they fall flat on their ass.
Well, that's what could very well happen. Look, this Sweet 16, there are 15 other teams in this contest that have everything to say, contrary to LaVar Ball's belief that his son and the UCLA Bruins team will end up winning an NCAA tournament.
Okay.
They have everything to say.
If they win, great.
Well, it's a big if.
It's going to be the next great thing in the NBA.
Well, no, not at all. There's no possible way that there could be anything at all to suggest, any words, verbiage, action, or otherwise to suggest that Lorenzo Ball will be the next Michael Jordan. And what about that comparison? Is there a comparison between LaVar Ball at his highest and Michael Jordan on a hardwood court when LaVar Ball himself didn't even reach the pinnacle of where he needed to be, where he wanted to be? Is he living through his son? Yes or no?
No, there's no comparison whatsoever. I mean, besides that, was a different generation.
No, it's a completely different generation. There's no way.
There's only one Michael Jordan. There's only one Jordan. There'll never be another one.
No, you're never going to have any other Michael Jordans. It's not even possible. Michael Jordan missed more shots than he made, but the ones that he made mattered. You can't count out Scottie Pippen. Welcome to the Rude Dog Show. I have another caller.
Hey, what's up, Rudy? Dan.
Dan.
I'm on the radio here for you, buddy.
What's going on? I have a three-way call here. This is, welcome, Dan, to the show. 105.7, the fan out in Baltimore. Hey, man, welcome to the show. I have another caller on the line. Look, we were just talking about LaVar Ball and the fact that he could not compare on a hardwood court to Michael Jordan. But does it get hairier when he starts mentioning guys like the great Greg Louganis? Is there any competition here? Is there anything to suggest that LaVar Ball at his height could match either one of these guys in their respective sports? Dan?
Absolutely not. There is no chance that LaVar Ball could stand up to, I don't think any athlete at this point, historical or present, there's no way LaVar Ball can stand up to. Sure, he's got the size and he might have the stature, but as far as skills go, I mean, people have brought up his stats when he was at Washington State. He played 1 year there. He averaged 2.2 points. I mean, this guy is a joke. It's unbelievable.
Well, there's no way. Look, bottom line is this. Michael Jordan would wax the floor at LaVar Ball. But what makes this even worse, is that he is stating that, and I was just talking to the other caller still on the line. Thank you for joining us, by the way. Download the app now. This is the Rude Dog Show on WBLZSports.com. The app is free, iTunes or Google. But what makes it even worse is that LaVar Ball wants to go tit for tat with LeBron James. Was LaVar Ball in the wrong by even bringing LeBron James' family up in this conversation?
Absolutely. I think that, that there's that fine line between, when you're talking crap, to certain players. LeBron, go after LeBron all you want. LeBron's fair game. He's a professional player. He gets paid to play ball. So you can go after LeBron if you want. Go after Michael Jordan if you want. But you're talking about LeBron James's kids who are 9 and 11, I want to say. That's how old they are. So, I mean, you're talking about kids that are not even in high school yet. Now, LeVar Ball's kids, his younger sons, I think, LaMelo and LiAngelo, I think are their names. They're in high school now. They've already committed to play at UCLA and all that nonsense. But you don't talk about children. That's going a step too far.
No.
And I understand, on one point, what LeVar Ball is trying to do. LeVar Ball is trying to create a brand for himself and for his kids, and he wants to make a ton of money off it. What LeVar Ball is doing right now is he's being the Kris Jenner Kardashian of basketball. That's what he's doing.
Yeah.
Gonna go there.
Look, I don't watch none of that stuff, okay?
That's what he's doing.
Well,
That's exactly what he's doing.
Yeah, no, he's trying to bring attention.
For no reason.
He's trying to bring attention to something that is of no means whatsoever. Look, there's an ends to justify the means. The ends is when his son ends up in the NBA, his skill set translates over, he can make the throws, he can make the passes, he can make the clutch shots. That will translate into the NBA, period. But right now, it's not. He can call out his son all he wants. That's his son. Leave somebody else's kids out of it. Just leave it alone. It's of no consequence to you whatsoever whether or not these people commit to play to UCLA or UCF. It doesn't matter.
No, I completely agree with that. And I think in the long run, what he's going to start doing is teams are going to be shying away from the younger kids. I think Lonzo Ball is a lot to be, if not the top pick in the NBA draft, then in the top 5. Lonzo Ball is that type of talent. He can do, like you just said, he can do everything at the NBA level. But the younger sons, I think, will sort of be shied away from by NBA teams because they're going to get tired of the shtick. They're going to get tired of LeVar Ball's act and all the talking that he does because he's going after legends of the game. He's going after Michael Jordan. He's going after LeBron James. Sure, LeBron James isn't a legend yet, but he is the best player in the game as right now. And to go after those guys, again, it gets back to the thing of he's creating headlines for himself and for his brand. He's got the clothing brand, the triple D's. I can't remember what it stands for, but he's got the clothing brand that he's trying to get out there. But look, in the long run, the joke might be on all of us because we're talking about it. We keep this thing going and we're perpetuating his sort of goal of being out there and being in the spotlight. And taking that spotlight away from the game, really, because what he's doing is he's not making it about the game of basketball. If he was coming out and saying, my sons are the best basketball players out there, and my sons are better than everybody else out there, he's not doing that. He's saying, I beat Michael Jordan. My sons are going to get $1 billion shoe deal. That has nothing to do with basketball and everything to do with the brand. And that's the big problem that I have with LaVar Hall here. That's the problem that I have with it.
Well, look, the bottom line is this. Enough attention is paid to bad publicity, but how much positive is being given to positive players? The ones where they're doing the work, they're silent, their parents are silent. All their parents are hoping for is that their children get a shot to play at the next level. Only 4% end up in the NBA playing in the Student Athletic Conference in the NCAA, period, in the NBA, transitioning over. So the biggest question is this: has the ball fable finally ran its course? I mean, some say yes. Someone will respond to that, suggest there'll be a comeback because at this juncture, that's on the horizon because Ball Jr. seemingly always seem to have a reply. And you're right. Going back to your point about how we're putting fire to this, we're adding gasoline wherever we need to. It's like trying to burn down a house one piece of fiber, a carpet at a time. It doesn't happen that way with one. It happens with everybody talking about it. Fox is talking about it. CBS is talking about it. They lost the Gottlieb show to Fox Sports. So congratulations to Gottlieb and sadly here at CBS. But when you look at the inability for LaVar Ball to just stop in his tracks right now and think, am I making a mockery of what my son's trying to build? Is it working? Is it backfiring? I mean, you tell me. Does it look like this is under the self-destruct category in the classifieds?
I mean, I think that, to your point, yes, I think it is. Right now, no, because what he's doing now is working because we're all talking about him. But like I said earlier, in the long run, I think it's going to hurt his kid's chances of getting, if he really wants his kids to get $1 billion shoe deal, he focus more on making them better and getting them in the spotlight the right way, as opposed to saying, I beat Michael Jordan one-on-one. All of these things, right now it's about him. It's about LaVar Ball, and it's not about his kids. And that's the big problem that he's going to create for his kids coming down the line. Because he's making this whole situation about himself and not about his kids. And that's another one of the bigger problems that I have with this whole thing that's going on with him now, is that this is the LaVar Ball show. It's not the Lonzo Ball, LiAngelo, and LaVar Ball show, or it's the LaVar Ball show. That's what it is. And that's the most frustrating thing.
Well, it should be. If I had kids playing in the NCAA, I want to give them as much positive reinforcement, positive conversations, and positivity overall, so that way they can translate that word of positive gesture, the conversation of saying, you know what, you got this, don't worry about it, it's just a game like any other game. That would be a conversation I would like to have, instead of saying, well, how are we going to be able to boost the brand today? Oh, wait, I know what we need to do. We need to go on Fox and keep talking about how it's all about me and how I don't like what LeBron James is saying, and I could care less about what his threats are because they mean nothing to me. He's just a star. Look, this is under a self-destruct category here. When you look at the Ball saga, he's stating Lonzo Ball will win the 2017 NCAA championship because he's that good. I don't think he's that good. I don't. He's good for UCLA. He's good for the team. But is he good moving forward? Can he propel himself despite what his dad's hype is all about?
Yeah, if you put my son LaVar, or if you put my kid on the Warriors right now, he'd be better than Steph Curry. Like, no, he wouldn't. Okay, he's still just a kid. He's a one and done at UCLA. I get all that, but I don't think that you cannot put Lonzo Ball in the same breath as Steph Curry or LeBron James. You can't do that right now because he hasn't done anything yet. To your point, this whole thing with LaVar is it's kind of like a balloon, and he just keeps on blowing his hot air into it. And what happens? You keep putting air in that balloon, and eventually it's going to pop. And we haven't gotten there yet, but it's going to get there eventually. At some point, this whole thing is going to pop and then just cave in on it. Because everybody's going to get tired of it. Right now, it's a fun story because the tournament's going on, and everybody's responding to it. Charles Barkley is calling him an idiot, and Michael Jordan, to his credit, hasn't really come back. But LeBron James is coming back and all of that. So it's just, eventually, it's going to all come falling down for him. And, I'm not going to really feel bad. I can't feel bad for him when it does.
Well, you know what the sad thing is what's going to happen is this ball's going to become overinflated. You get the basketball needle, you're pushing it up, you're pumping it. LaVar Ball is pumping up the ball himself. That ball will end up busting. And when the ball busts, you're going to think to yourself 2, 3, 4 years to what you were saying in regards to how it's a fun topic right now, how it's great to discuss, how everybody is adding their own opinions worldwide across this topic. But what makes it really interesting is that when that ball busts, the biggest question is, will Lonzo Ball bust moving forward in the NBA? He hasn't had that much experience yet in any type of workout situation because he's too busy with the tourney. My question is this: will the Lakers take a chance because of all the things that they're experiencing right now with a new general manager, with a new head coach, with a new Magic Johnson, owner operations, vice president operations for Lakers, outing Bus brother, now he's busted or being thrown under the bus, whatever you want to call it. But he's out. Yeah. So will the Lakers take a chance on him knowing what kind of father that Lonzo Ball has moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about that, Rudy, because the thing with it is that when it comes down to it, is Lonzo Ball talented enough to take the Lakers to that next level? Because if you think about it, everything about this whole situation screams Showtime. And the Lakers are just as dysfunctional right now as LaVar Ball is. If you think about it, I mean, it might.
It's a good comparison.
All of the dysfunction that's going on right now, you add Lonzo into that situation, you got LaVar, his dad coming in, it could add a little bit more buzz. Because when you look at the Lakers, they're horrible. They're horrible.
Oh, yeah.
And Magic Johnson has to come around and has to come in and turn that franchise around. And I think that he has the ability to do it. You know, you see, going back to that whole with the Lakers, you know, he's trying to bring in Kobe Bryant to have some type of role with the team and all of that. And I don't know, you know, if Kobe would want to be involved with a guy like LaVar. Because you have to imagine that once Lonzo gets drafted to whoever he goes to, if it's the Lakers or the Magic or whoever it is, you know that he's going to be a thorn in their side. He is going to be such a pain in the butt when it comes to, hey, my son should be doing this, and my son should be doing that. Why aren't you giving my son the ball enough? And all of that mess. You know that's coming. So you have to, as a franchise, whatever NBA franchise is going to end up drafting Lonzo Ball, you have to have the stones to stand up to LaVar and say, look, dude, you got to shut up now. Okay? He's a pro. He's going to be getting paid, and he has to do all the work for himself.
Right.
Because
no.
right now, all LaVar doing is talking. It's all hype. There's nothing behind it yet.
Well, look.
There has to be a time where, you know, Lonzo has to prove that he can do it, and it's not just all hype.
Well, no, it's not hype. Right now, the Los Angeles Lakers are finding themselves in a very horrible situation. They're finding themselves at the very bottom of the list. Are they really jockeying to get the first pick in the lottery? Maybe. You would probably suggest that, considering the uphill battle that Luke Walton is having right now by laying down the metal and saying, look, this is where we're at. This is what we need to do. We need to get on the same page here and get it done. Look, this is not an overnight success story. You're not going to add in Lonzo Ball and make this Showtime. It's not going to happen. It's going to take a lot longer than that in order to make this team great again, to make the moves that they're going to make in the lottery make sense. Current players right now aren't doing very good either. So when you add the dad into the situation, because it did, the dad comes with the player. The dad is not the player. He comes with the player. And that in of itself brings problems. But the biggest question is this.
Yeah.
Do the Lakers take a chance on Lonzo Ball knowing what they get that comes along with them? That's the biggest question.
Yeah. Right, yeah. And I work here at 105.7 here in Baltimore with a former NFL GM, Vinny Serrato. And one of his favorite sayings is, when the headache outweighs the production, you get rid of the headache. But if the production outweighs the headache, you take an Advil. You know, so it's all about how good can Lonzo really be. Because we're years away from seeing the younger two sons make it to the NBA, if they even do. You know, that's not even them making the NBA, the two younger sons, that's not a lock. You know, the one kid, I think it's the youngest one, he's the one who's stepping up to half court and draining a shot in one of his games, and he's scoring, you know, however many points he scored in a high school game because they're running up the score and all that, cherry picking all of those layups. They're not even close to the NBA yet. But Lonzo is a lock to make it to the NBA.
Oh, he definitely is a lock. Yeah, there's no doubt about it.
That headache that LaVar is going to be bigger than what Lonzo can produce, then you got to pass on him. Yeah, and it's unfortunate because he's wildly talented and he has the opportunity to be very good in the NBA. But if that headache that is LaVar Ball is too overpowering, you've got to pass on Lonzo, and it's going to be really unfortunate because I think, you know, he's saying that his sons are going to, you know, have $1 billion shoe contract. The more he talks, the more the value of that contract keeps going down. Correct.
Yeah, because you can talk yourself out of a sale. You can talk yourself out of being one of the highest paid players to enter the 2017-2018 NBA lottery. Why? Because there's too much talk. Let your son do what he does best. Let him talk for himself. But I think the problem may lie within Lonzo Ball himself. Why? Is because he's not having the conversation with his dad. This is one-sided. You hear a press conference on a postgame for Lonzo Ball, and that's it. But what you also hear from is his dad, who's talking through him, utilizing his son's influence to make what he said. If his son's name wasn't Lonzo and he didn't go to UCLA, you wouldn't care who he was. It wouldn't matter.
Yeah, that's right.
It wouldn't matter. So the fact that Lonzo Ball is not stepping into the conversation and having it with the dad and saying, look, you need to knock it off. You stop. Just stop. You're hurting me. You're hurting my brand. You're hurting my name. You're hurting my label. People like Adidas, Nike, McDonald's, Pepsi, Coke, all these people will avoid you because you said it best, Dan. People will not touch you because they know what baggage you come with. It's like a bad relationship. It's not you, it's me. In this instance, it's them, it's not us. When you're talking about Adidas or Nike or anybody else. So,
I couldn't agree with you more. Rudy, I got to run, man. It was great talking to you.
Yeah, thanks, Dan. Appreciate it. Hey, guys, check him out. His name is Dan. Dan Turner.
Follow me on Twitter at Dano on the radio. Rude Dog, really appreciate it. Have a good one.
Thanks, Dan. Appreciate it, man. Thanks for coming on. We'll have you on later. Thanks, man. Bye. Look, Dan. Oh, do you? Where are you from?
From Jersey, actually.
They're Jersey. Okay, so you're very familiar with the Baltimore area. Hey, thanks for calling in. Certainly appreciate it. We're going to move forward here. I need to take a commercial break. Got to come back to this topic because this is still big. This is still big. I think it's big. Anyway, caller, thanks for calling in. You're from New Jersey. I appreciate you tuning in there in New Jersey. So thanks for tuning in. This is Rudy Reyes of the Rude Dog Show on WBLZSports.com. I got to run a commercial. I'll be right back.
This is the sheet. Gets me all revved up. My face is now red. My ears are just freaking boiling. He's so raw. He's so raw. Scott hates it. Yeah, he had 51 touchdowns. 4,900 total yards.
I know y'all like that, but I got to run. I know you're not going to let that happen. I have to say.
They're so good. Man, they would win the Big Ten if they were in the Big Ten. You could be doing something vision-based in front of you and reach down and grab a handful of insane goodness.
Even to him, kudos. I'm clapping like a golfer. Very good project.
Wow, you guys agree on something again? I'm very impressed. You ever had a bad week? You walk outside, step in a photo, like driving, you walk outside, there's a photo around the Or you stand on the curb and like drive by and splash the water on you, or it's just raining on you, not anyone else.
I will tell you, before you go any further, I cannot hear Chad when he speaks.
Good. Here, listen to the sheet, man. I don't really know what we're doing.
Every Saturday morning, 8 to 10 a.m. right here on WBLZ Sports.
Doug Pepper painting and pressure washing. He has over 30 years of painting experience. His interior, exterior, commercial or residential, Doug Pepper covers it all. Is your house looking ugly? We'll call on Doug. Doug Pepper painting and pressure washing. 404-966-3361. Mention WBLZ Sports and get a special We've Got Balls discount. That's Doug Pepper Painting and Pressure Washing. 404-966-3361.
Hello everybody, this is Blake Cole, host of Off the Wall Baseball here on WBLZ Sports. If you love America's pastime, then join me every Wednesday afternoon at 1 p.m. Eastern for the latest and greatest in the world of Major League Baseball.
Whether it be your industrial, commercial, or residential needs, Gen Service is the electrical contractor for you. The Gen Service team has the expertise, commitment, and educational years to help you solve your electrical concerns. They have you in their best interest with helpful suggestions to accommodate your every want. Give them a call no matter the size of the job at 740-438-7173. And mention WBLZ Sports, you will get a discount. That's Gen Service, 740-438-7173.
WBLZ Sports, Singapore, this is Patricia.
And welcome back to the Rude Dog Show. This is Rudy Reyes. Look, I thank everybody for calling in. Dan, hey man, you're the man. Your name is Dan. Thanks for calling in, buddy. I appreciate the call. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. I have about 10 minutes left. This is Rudy Reyes of the Rude Dog Show, WBLZSports.com. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for checking it out. I have 10 minutes left. Download the app. It only takes a minute, I think. Depends on the speed of your phone. I don't know, but I can tell you this much. It was great talking about this. This is an interesting subject. Again, everybody's talking about it. This seems to be the fire that's burning in people right now. Look, bottom line is this. The distraction is causing the NCAA basketball world to be turned upside down. This is unwarranted noise. Nobody wants to hear it. Nobody wants to talk about it because it's all for naught. Look, my opinion is out of the woodworks with what LaVar Ball should do and should not be saying. The underlying issue is when you can't be great, you can't make other people be great. It doesn't work that way. LaVar Ball certainly should know about that. This is a conversation both guys need to hash out. They need to sit down. They need to sit at a table. They need to have a conversation in regards to what was said, what was taken out of context, and how there could be a resolution. Look, this is something that could play into a negative for Lonzo Ball moving forward. He awaits a possible bid for the LA Lakers. I'm not saying he's going to be in Lakeland, but with Showtime on the horizon being one of the worst teams in the NBA, not the worst, but one of the worst teams in the NBA, it just makes you wondering, what are they going to do in the upcoming lottery? I don't know. Perhaps this is a one-sided conversation for Lonzo Ball. He may want to have with his dad. I suggest having the conversation with his dad. I suggest talking to your dad and saying, look, Dad, I can't do this. Look, first of all, his dad, as we said earlier in the show, not a licensed agent and shouldn't be allowed to touch an NBA contract. He'll need to revitalize his thought processes, meaning that what he says next could be the next worst decision he can make on his son's behalf. Bottom line. And you're right, Kevin. LaVar could ruin his son's draft position. There's no doubt about it. They could trade it off and saying, look, here's another team. You take the issue. You take the problem. We don't want to hear. Thanks for the input, Kevin. Appreciate it. Look, bottom line is this. This topic is way done. It's way over with. It's way overstated. There's too much buzz. We're giving it too much conversation. And I'm in the media. I'm designed to talk about what's going on. But in all fairness to the situation at hand, it's giving way too much credit. It's being given way too much conversation, way too much time. I mean, time is what it boils down to. If I was Lonzo Ball and there was a message I wanted to say to my dad, I'd probably say something like this. Dad, I know you mean well. While your help, quote unquote, at times has been questionable, please consider what this could do for me or how it could work against me. And I know it's not easy to have a conversation like this with your dad. It's probably not easy conversation to have with anybody, for anybody, and by anybody. But the bottom line is this. Unless Lonzo Ball has a conversation with his dad, and I'm talking reality here, folks. I'm not saying that this is anywhere, shape, or form gonna happen, but it must happen. It needs to happen. It needs to happen now, because if his son ruins his branding, that means that his son, Lonzo, could face an uphill battle in regards to getting those larger contracts from Adidas and Pepsi and Coke and maybe Procter and Gamble for whatever product they're thinking of. I mean, look at Shaquille O'Neal, an Icy Hot commercial. Those types of things when you retire, that you rely on those money or those monetary resources to help contribute to a very successful post NBA career, post NFL career, post NHL career, those types of things. And unless you create a positive branding effort surrounding you on the long term, this could damage Lonzo more than his dad even realizes right now. 216-539-9967. About 8 minutes left here on the Rude Dog Show, and then I'll be preparing for tomorrow, talking draft, NFL draft. I know your favorite subject, the favorite topic. Everybody wants to talk about it. The draft is a buzz here on the Rude Dog Show because I'm trying to have these solid talents, these guys, these positive character resources to discuss things with here on the Rude Dog Show. Because why? People need to know who they are. I have to give props to Anthony Gilbert, who has a plan at new-game-plan.com. You can certainly take your mentality, your thoughts of what an actual agent is in the NFL and make it a reality in a positive way, to be a positive attribution to your life moving forward. Check out ceregumil.us, official vitamin sponsor for Starling Marte and the Pittsburgh Pirates. Unfortunately, Dominican Republic's not in it, and that's where Marte and Gregory Polanco were at. So, sorry guys, didn't quite make it. Again, USA and a WBC 2017. Oof. It got chills thinking about it. I'm telling you right now, I'll be watching that game from end to end. But anyway, look, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for your listenership. Thanks for climbing aboard. I appreciate your time. Thank you for listening. Make sure you download the app. I will be back tomorrow at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Thanks for calling in. Thanks for your input. Thanks for checking out the Rude Dog Show on WBLZSports.com. I will see you tomorrow.